today on the CTV News at 5.
You know, it's an incredible boost for Lethbridge College.
Heading into the leaders' debate, why a PC promise for additional funding to Lethbridge College is raising harsh criticism.
We have a very highly skilled set of investigators.
Plus, a new crime-fighting unit hits Lethbridge streets. And the Medicine Hat Tigers are out of playoff contention.
Scores! CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Heading into tonight's leadership debate, there is harsh criticism over a PC promise for a new $55 million trades and technology wing at Lethbridge College. Lethbridge West PC candidate and advanced education minister Greg Weddick made the announcement earlier this week. Critics say the funding wasn't covered in the recent budget and the PC platform doesn't contain any money to pay for the project. Terry Vogt reports.
Most of the candidates for the two Lethbridge constituencies spent the morning at a meet and greet sponsored by the Norbridge Senior Citizen Centre. Liberal candidate Bal Burra says voters should consider the government track record, not get influenced by promises being made in days leading up to the election.
Construction of the trades and technology.
Like many of the opposition candidates, Burra is questioning a public announcement Tuesday by Advanced Education Minister Greg Weddick, who promised an elected PC government would spend $55 million for a new trades and technology building at Lethbridge College.
Why didn't they announce all these things in the budget, which they brought in before election? So they are sprinkling money now to buy votes.
We just went through a budget process in which $1 million was dedicated to apprenticeship programs at Lethbridge College. And now, at election time, we seem to have found 55 times that amount of money that is not in the budget for Lethbridge College. I have some questions about that promise.
But Weddick rejects suggestions that the announcement is either inappropriate or aimed at buying votes.
So they've been in the planning process and working with us to build these facilities for quite a period of time, sometimes as long as 4 years. And so this was a time to say, if you elect us as a government, we believe that this is one of those critically important pieces of infrastructure around trades and technologies and engineering that we need to go forward with.
The controversy comes amidst polls that show an increasing number of Albertans have already made up their minds. The number of undecided voters has dropped from 23% last week to just 17% now.
I'm one of these guys that really hasn't had an opportunity to get introduced to any of the programs offered by these candidates, and that's why I came here to meet them.
I'm going to talk to the Wild Rose and see if they're going to follow through with their promises.
I did make my mind, and because I was watching real good, and I was getting in the computer to see what everyone is saying, and so I made my mind.
Some of the voters we talked to say they're looking for qualities in individual candidates. Others say party platform is important. They'll be watching tonight's televised leaders debate with interest. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
And as Terry was saying, you can watch the leaders' debate live on CTV tonight from 6:30 until 8:30, and we will also stream it live on the ctvcalgary.ca website. The next Southern Alberta debate isn't until Sunday. Dory Rossiter, we were hoping for a nice, lovely, sunny weekend. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know, it's not going to be an awful weekend, Jackie, and we certainly need the rain. A lot of farmers and ranchers have been telling me that this precipitation is very much welcome, but we're not going to get the sunny, solid 14 degrees for daytime highs right through the weekend. What we're going to get is a little bit of a mixed bag. Temperature-wise, it's not too bad. I'll explain the details and the sogginess that we're dealing with right now in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. And we're going to show you a look at some of that rain that Dory is talking about. Lethbridge City crews were working all day on flooded areas across the city. Flooding caused by plugged catch basins. Now, due to the rain slowing down work, 30th Street North will remain closed until noon tomorrow. If you are having any flooding problems, you're asked to contact the City of Lethbridge. Lethbridge Regional Police and RCMP are combining forces to establish the province's newest serious and organized crime unit. The Lethbridge Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit was launched April 1st, and 15 of the 21 positions on the team have been filled with Lethbridge Regional Police and RCMP, who work together to investigate and target serious crimes, including drug trafficking networks. The team will also handle street-level gang activity and probe larger crime groups.
We recognize that crime doesn't see any borders. It's not a municipal issue, it's not a provincial issue, it's not even a national, it's international. And through breaking down those borders and going to integrated policing and specializing in certain areas, we have a very highly skilled set of investigators that are going to be targeting serious and organized crime.
By combining forces, police say they should be able to double drug and gang enforcement without affecting policing at the local street level. The unit has already been involved in some major investigations, including one that resulted in a seizure of cash and cocaine. Police stopped a vehicle heading into Lethbridge and then executed a search warrant at a Southside home. Officers seized $45,000 in cash and cocaine, worth an estimated $14,000 on the street. 30-year-old Marco Sanchez and 25-year-old Chantel Ward both face drug-related charges. There are concerns tonight that a 74-year-old Calgary man may have drowned in Chain Lakes. The man's family reported him overdue, and RCMP arrived at the lake. They were able to confirm footprints and sled marks leading out onto the frozen lake near Nanton and then ending in an open hole in the ice. It is presumed that the man went through the ice and has died. The investigation into this tragic incident is still ongoing. And a former Redcliffe teacher accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl will stand trial. 32-year-old Bradley Mastel pleaded not guilty this morning in a Medicine Hat courtroom to 5 sex assault charges. They include sexual assault, sexual exploitation, and unlawful confinement. Mastel was arrested in February after an officer came across the teacher and a teen in a vehicle in a secluded area of a Medicine Hat park. Mastel was a science teacher at Parkside School in Redcliffe at the time. His bail conditions now prevent him from being within a 3-block radius of the school. Mastel's trial is set for November the 13th. Now, a Lethbridge man has been given a 1-year conditional sentence after pleading guilty to administering a noxious substance. 38-year-old Curtis David Larco was charged in the November 2009 drug overdose death of 20-year-old Hunter Patterson. An autopsy indicated that Patterson already had drugs in his system, but the injection that he asked Larco to give him was a contributing factor in his death. Larco will serve his sentence at home under a curfew and has been directed to attend a number of treatment programs, including addictions counseling. A member of the Emergency Dispatch Center team in Lethbridge that handled last November's wildfire has been recognized as the city's Communications Specialist of the Year. Mandy Kane was presented with the award during a ceremony today at the downtown fire hall. Kane was working when the Public Safety Communications Center was bombarded with calls from concerned residents. During one 3-hour period, the center received more than 5,000 calls. Nearly 2,000 of those came in 1 hour alone. Officials say Kane not only managed to stay cool under pressure, but she also remained professional and demonstrated remarkable leadership.
They all had their assigned roles and they managed their jobs really well. One person was responsible for police transmissions, one person was responsible for fire radio transmissions, one person for call taking, and well, several people for call taking. So it all worked out really very well.
This is not a single person thing. This is a team. I work as a member of a team and I need every single person in order to make things go smoothly.
And we should mention that the Communications Specialist of the Year award is a peer-nominated award that recognizes leadership, professionalism, and of course teamwork. Well, one of Canada's top naval commanders is paying a visit to Lethbridge. Rear Admiral Nigel Greenwood was greeted at City Hall today, and he spoke to members of the United Services Institute last night. Admiral Greenwood says Canadian frigates have been part of joint naval operations deployed in the Mediterranean because of the civil war in Libya. He says the Navy's biggest challenge is capacity, adding they have to pick and choose which opportunities to engage in.
What's coming up this summer, which is a major multinational exercise in the Pacific called RIMPAC, and we have several notable command positions in that exercise, notably the deputy commander of the whole exercise.
And the exercise will involve 21 nations, 40 ships and submarines, and 25,000 sailors and aircraft operators. A local neighborhood is one step closer to being named one of the great places in Canada. London Road Market was chosen as one of the 21 finalists in the national competition. More than 20,000 votes, and a panel of judges narrowed down the list from a field of 90 nominations. And judges will announce their picks for the top street, neighborhood, and public place at the end of the month. Waterton has also made the list. Now, Southern Albertans are invited to celebrate Earth Day with slow food. The alternative to fast food focuses on local natural processes, such as using organic fertilizers to create healthier food with less of an environmental footprint. The Galt Museum will host a free event April 22nd from 1 until 4 in the afternoon. And guests can meet local producers and sample goods, including garlic, honey, and wine. It will also be the last day to enjoy the Earth's climate in the Balance exhibit at the museum. Organizers say choosing slow food goes beyond environmental and health benefits.
If they know the face of their food, if they know the story, if they know how it got here. Are we talking thousands of food miles to bring something in from Chile, like asparagus? Or are we talking about a grower that's just out here in the Old Man River Valley? Right there, you're making a huge difference because you're supporting someone locally, which in turn supports our local economic community.
The museum is also hosting a session this Saturday where you can create a worm compost to take home. In the markets today, a lot of up arrows. Here are the day's final numbers.